Celebrities with criminal records? Stick around as we dive into the jaw-dropping criminal records of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Mark Wahlberg's criminal history is one of the most well-known on this list. In 1986, he was arrested and charged with assault and attempted murder after allegedly attacking a man in the street with a wooden stick, leaving him unconscious. His trouble with the law started much earlier. By the age of 13, he was already struggling with cocaine addiction. Throughout his teen years, he was accused of multiple assaults, often targeting minority groups in his neighborhood. At 16, he was involved in two separate incidents where he attacked Vietnamese men, one with a stick and the other with his fists. When police arrested him later that day, he was reportedly shouting racial slurs. Wahlberg eventually pleaded guilty to assault and served only 45 days behind bars. Despite his short sentence, the felony charge remains on his record to this day. Jay-Z once got into serious legal trouble for stabbing someone, but not during his early days in the late 80s and early 90s, when he was reportedly dealing drugs in New York. The incident happened in 1999 when he stabbed a record executive in the stomach during a nightclub altercation. He later pleaded guilty to assault and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. In 1991, Vanilla Ice, whose real name is Robert Matthew Van Winkle, was arrested for allegedly pulling a gun on a homeless man and threatening him. A decade later, in 2001, he found himself in trouble again, this time for assaulting his wife. During a heated argument, he reportedly yanked out some of her hair. He later pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and was sentenced to probation. Vanilla Ice didn't wait another 10 years for his next arrest. In 2008, he was charged with battery after allegedly hitting and kicking his wife. However, the charges were eventually dropped when it was determined that he had only pushed her. Lindsay Lohan has had a long history of legal troubles, starting with her first DUI arrest in 2007. Since then, she has been in and out of jail multiple times for offenses including driving under the influence, cocaine possession, assault, and even a hit-and-run incident. Her ongoing legal issues and repeated probation violations have unfortunately cost her several movie opportunities over the years. In 1999, Matthew McConaughey was arrested after police responded to noise complaints from his upscale Austin, Texas neighborhood. When officers arrived around 3 a.m., they found him completely naked in his living room, passionately playing the bongos. He was taken into custody and charged with violating the city's noise ordinance, resisting arrest, and, not too surprisingly, marijuana use. Known for his upbeat and fun-loving personality, Will Smith had a run-in with the law back in 1989. He was arrested after a violent incident that left a man with serious injuries, including a fractured orbital bone and 6 stitches on his face. Reports say that Smith, along with his bodyguard, attacked the victim following a heated argument, leaving him nearly blind in one eye. As one of the most talked-about Kardashian siblings, Khloe's 2007 DUI arrest didn't come as much of a shock. But that wasn't her only brush with the law. At just 15, she was arrested for stealing her mother's car. In 2009, she was also named as a suspect in the assault of a transgender woman outside a nightclub. It's no secret that rap legend Snoop Dogg has had multiple run-ins with the law for marijuana possession. However, before his rise to fame, he spent several years in and out of prison and was openly involved in gang activity. In 1993, he and his bodyguard were linked to the murder of a rival gang member and faced trial. Ultimately, the court ruled the shooting as self-defense, and Snoop was acquitted of all charges. Bill Cosby's sexual assault allegations have made headlines in recent years, but they date back decades. The first reported incident of rape was in 1965, though no one publicly spoke out until the 1980s. Since then, 59 women have accused him of rape or sexual misconduct, with 44 of those cases involving drugging the victims. In 2016, it was announced that Cosby would stand trial before June 5, 2017, facing the possibility of up to 10 years in prison for each charge against him. Daniel Baldwin, the second eldest of the Baldwin brothers, has had a long history of drug use and related arrests. One of his most notorious incidents occurred in 1998 when he was found running naked through the halls of a New York hotel while high on cocaine, repeatedly shouting his own last name, Baldwin. Martin Sheen has built a reputation for his unwavering activism, with an incredible 67 arrests for civil disobedience, trespassing, and disturbing the peace. Throughout his life, he has fearlessly protested against issues he believes in, making him the most arrested celebrity in Hollywood history. Even at 75, Sheen remained committed to his causes, with his most recent arrest occurring in 2007 after trespassing at a nuclear testing site in Nevada. Paris Hilton, a member of the wealthy Hilton family, was once a frequent troublemaker for law enforcement. Her legal issues started in 2006 with a DUI arrest. After her license was suspended, she ignored the restriction and was sentenced to 45 days in the Linwood Detention Center. She was eventually released early after agreeing to follow the rules. Lil Wayne, whose real name is Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., was first arrested in July 2007 for firearm possession. Initially, he pleaded not guilty, but later changed his plea to guilty in exchange for a reduced sentence. As a result, he served 8 months behind bars at New York City's Rikers Island. On Christmas Day in 2009, Charlie Sheen was arrested after an altercation with his ex-wife, Brooke Muller. He spent the rest of the holiday behind bars in Aspen, facing charges of second-degree assault, criminal mischief, and making threats. Eventually, he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor third-degree assault charge. Culture Club member Boy George was sentenced to 4 months in prison after assaulting and detaining Norwegian male escort Auden Carlsen in his London apartment in 2007. Found guilty of using excessive force, he also served 90 days under house arrest. Actress Felicity Huffman was arrested for her role in a college admissions scandal where parents paid millions to secure their children's spots at elite universities. As a result, she served just 2 weeks in jail, completed 250 hours of community service, and paid a $35,000 fine. Meanwhile, her husband, William H. Macy, was not charged for reasons that were never publicly disclosed. Canadian pop star Justin Bieber has had his fair share of legal troubles, including arrests for DUI, reckless driving, and vandalism. Despite these run-ins with the law, he has remained popular with his loyal fan base and continued to release successful music. While his criminal record is well documented, Bieber has worked to rebuild his reputation and stay focused on his music career. Mick Jagger, the iconic frontman of the Rolling Stones, has lived a rock and roll life full of highs and legal issues. In 1967, he was arrested for drug possession after a police raid on his home in England. Although he was acquitted, the incident damaged his reputation and attracted more attention from law enforcement. Despite his past, Jagger has had a successful music career that has lasted for decades. Tim Allen, the beloved actor and comedian known for Home Improvement and the Toy Story films, has been open about his rocky past, including a felony drug trafficking conviction in the 1970s. He spent more than 2 years in federal prison before reinventing himself and launching a successful comedy career. His record was later sealed, paving the way for his rise to fame in Hollywood. Martha Stewart, the famous lifestyle expert, encountered legal issues in 2004 when she was convicted on charges of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and making false statements tied to insider trading. She served 5 months in prison and 2 years on probation before making a remarkable comeback, rebuilding both her reputation and business empire. Although her criminal record was eventually sealed, Stewart went on to continue her successful career in media, business, and philanthropy. Bruno Mars, born Peter Hernandez, has openly admitted to past involvement in criminal activities, including drug possession and unauthorized firearm possession. In 2010, he was arrested for cocaine possession in Las Vegas, but struck a plea deal that led to a deferred adjudication program. His criminal record was later sealed, enabling him to focus on his successful music career. Robert Downey Jr. has faced numerous struggles with substance abuse and legal issues over the years, including multiple arrests for drug-related offenses. In 1996, he was convicted for drug possession and served time in both rehab and prison. However, Downey Jr. has made an incredible comeback, achieving sobriety and regaining his status as one of Hollywood's most adored actors. His criminal record in California has since been sealed, which is particularly notable considering California is ranked as the most difficult state to seal a criminal record. This has allowed him to focus on both his career and personal growth. Chris Brown made headlines in 2009 when he was arrested for assaulting Rihanna. He was sentenced to probation, a decision that was confirmed in November of that year, according to CBS News. Brown had signed with Jive Records back in 2004, 5 years prior to his arrest. Despite the controversy, he continued his music career, releasing two successful albums, Graffiti in 2010 and Fame in 2011. Nicole Richie, who later became Mrs. Joel Madden, was arrested in 2006 on suspicion of DUI after authorities allegedly saw her driving the wrong way on the freeway, according to TMZ. She also pleaded guilty to heroin possession following a 2003 arrest, as reported by ABC News. Since then, Richie has made a significant transformation, marrying record producer Joel Madden, with whom she has two children. Her career has flourished, with successful ventures like her Winter Kate fashion line and House of Harlow jewelry collection. Hugh Grant, known for his role in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, was arrested in 1995 when police reportedly caught him with a prostitute, as reported by The Telegraph. Since that incident, Grant has gone on to star in successful films like Notting Hill and Bridget Jones's Diary. A single arrest couldn't harm George Clooney's career, especially since it was for a worthy cause. The Ocean's 11 star was arrested in March for protesting outside the Sudanese embassy in Washington, D.C., as reported by the Huffington Post. In 2007, Hayden Panettiere was involved in a legal issue when a Japanese arrest warrant was issued for her after she attempted to intervene in fishermen's efforts to catch and kill dolphins. Amanda Bynes, the former child star of The Amanda Show, faced multiple legal issues in 2013. She was charged with marijuana possession, reckless endangerment, and attempting to tamper with evidence after throwing a bong out of her window in her New York City apartment. The following year, she was also charged with driving under the influence in Los Angeles. In 2000, Detroit rapper Eminem was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, a charge that could have led to up to 5 years in prison. He was also charged with brandishing a firearm. However, he ultimately served just 1 year on probation. Actor Danny Trejo was involved in his first drug deal at just 7 years old. He was arrested for the first time at 10 and served time at Eastlake Juvenile Hall in 1956. Later, in 1962, he was incarcerated for drug dealing and robbery. Over the years, Trejo spent a total of 11 years in prison. In July 2019, singer R. Kelly was arrested on 10 charges of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. Before her role in Stranger Things, Winona Ryder was a well-known actress, starring in films like Beetlejuice and Girl, Interrupted. In 2001, she made headlines when she was arrested for shoplifting thousands of dollars worth of items from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills, surprising many of her fans. Although former football running back O.J. Simpson was acquitted of the murder of his ex-wife Nicole Brown, he was arrested in 2007 for breaking into a hotel room and stealing sports memorabilia at gunpoint. He faced charges including criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, kidnapping, assault, and use of a deadly weapon, and was sentenced to 33 years in prison. In 1987, while visiting Northern Ireland, Matthew Broderick and his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Gray, were involved in a car accident that resulted in the deaths of 2 people. Initially, Broderick faced a charge of causing death by dangerous driving, which carried a possible sentence of up to 5 years in prison. However, the charges were later reduced to careless driving, and Broderick was fined $175. In 1992, professional boxer Mike Tyson was found guilty of raping 18-year-old beauty pageant contestant Desiree Washington after a widely covered trial. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but the judge chose to suspend the final 4 years of his sentence. Before Natasha Lyonne portrayed an inmate on Orange is the New Black, she had her own run-ins with the law. In 2001, she was arrested for driving under the influence. A few years later, in 2004, she faced charges for mischief, trespassing, and harassing a neighbor. After missing a court hearing, she ended up spending a night in jail. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe for more exclusive celebrity content.